2026 winter air is cutting through my sleep at the empty space beside me that you chose to leave. I still reach for your hand when the light begins to fade, clutching at the hollow where our promises were made. My fingers itch to find you in the middle of the night, only to be met with the cold and biting light. It's the ache of phantom limbs, a love I can't let go, reaching for a version of us buried in the snow. I can feel the weight of your pressing on my skin, but I'm just a broken vessel where the nothingness begins. You're gone from the body, but you're heavy in the mind. A part of me is missing that I'll never really find. I walked into the kitchen and I called out to the hall, waiting for an answer that would never come at all. My brain is playing tricks, telling me that you're still near, while I'm drowning in the static of a long and lonely year. The nerve endings are screaming for a touch that's turned to stone. In this 2026 silence, I have never been so alone. They say the mind eventually forgets what isn't there, but how do I ignore the way you're haunting every year? It's a ghost of a sensation, a sharp and silver sting, the phantom of the always that we were gonna bring. Still reaching, still feeling the ghost of the part of myself that I loved the most. Phantom limb, phantom mode, 2046. I'm staring at the Rolex that you bought me for my pride, counting every second of the hollow man inside. The 2026 skyline is a shimmer in the glass, watching all the shadows of our forever slowly pass. We're draped in heavy velvet and we're drinking from the vine, but I'm searching for a heartbeat that I used to call mine. It's a gold-plated heartbreak, a luxury of pain, standing in the sunshine while I'm dying in the rain. The jewelry everything to keep the ghost at bay. But the price of losing you is a debt I can't repay. We've got the crystal glasses and the marble on the floor, but I'd trade the whole cathedral just to have you at the door. Scratch beneath the surface and the copper starts to show the bitter honest truth that I was terrified to know. You can polish up the memory, you can make the edges shine, but it doesn't change the fact that you're no longer mine. It's 2026, and the glitter's turning cold. Just a gold-plated heartbreak, and a story that's grown old. All that glitters, it's just a ghost. I'm sitting on the kitchen floor in the 2026 light, with a phone pressed to my ear in the middle of the night. I dial the number that I know doesn't belong to you, just to hear the rhythm of the void I'm passing through. The house is a museum of the things we didn't say, and I'm just a lonely pilgrim trying to find a way to pray. It's my doubts home meditation, a long and steady hum, the sound of a future that's never gone. The clock on the wall says it's 2026, but I'm stuck in a loop that no calendar can fix. The ceiling is a canvas for the shadows of my doubt. Since you took the fire and you put the embers out, my phone is a weapon that I hold against my chest, waiting for a signal that will finally let me rest. It's that blurred insomnia glow without the heat, staring at the screen while my heart skips a beat, scrolling through the always and the never let you go, drowning in the pixels of a girl I used to know. The world is fast asleep while I'm freezing in the glare, searching for your ghost in the cold electric air. Sheets are a desert where the silence starts to grow, reflecting back the messages from a winter long ago. I'm hyper-focused on the way you used to type your name, feeding every memory into a digital flame. My eyes are burning red, but I can't close the door on the version of the life that we don't live anymore. They say the light will blind you, that it keeps the sun away, but I'm terrified of waking to a long and empty day. I'd rather have the static and the artificial blue than the heavy, hollow reality of waking without you. 3 a.m. again, the battery is thin, nothingness begins. Just the blow, just the ghost. 2026. The 2026 skyline is a blur of cold neon and chrome. I'm pulling up to the curb of a house that isn't home. The engine's still humming, but the radio has died, just like the ghost of the girl who used to sit by my side. I'm holding out the keys to a shadow in the dark, waiting for a miracle in the middle of the park. Now I'm just a valet for one, opening doors for the air, reaching for a hand that's no longer really there. Park the car in silence, and I walk back to the gate, living in the wreckage of a love that arrived too late. A form of kind of lonely service for the dead, keeping up the ritual of the words we never said. I still check the mirror to see if you're fixing your hair, but it's just a reflection of a long and empty stare. I remember in case you change your mind and decide to reclaim the heart that you left so far behind. Keys in the box, the 2026 rain starts to fall, a valet for one. At the end of it all, still the 2026 and your sun is hitting the floor through the jagged remains of our locked front door. I found the champagne flute we used for the toast, reduced to 1,000 sharp shards and a ghost. The facets are catching the pale morning light, scattered like stars from a long dead night. Now I'm walking on shattered crystal and broken glass, watching the ghosts of our forevers pass. It was beautiful once, how we caught every spark before we both splintered and fell to the dark. You can't glue the light back once it's hit the stone. I'm just picking up pieces, completely I tried to sweep up the mess that we made, but the edges are sharper than the games that we played. Every fragment reflects a small piece of your face, a distorted reminder in this hollowed out space. It used to be clear, it used to be bright. Now it's just debris in the 2026 light. They say that glass is forged in the heat and the fire, but we were just victims of our own cold desire. One sudden impact, one heavy goodbye, and the cathedral we built fell out of the sky. Mind your step, love. The glitter is thin, just shattered crystal where the nothing begins. It's over, what's gone, 20 twisted. 2026 winter is a vacuum in this room, a heavy airless pressure in the January gloom. I'm gasping for the words that I should have let you know before you took the atmosphere and turned it into snow. My lungs are only hollowed out, a desperate empty space, remembering the rhythm of your breathing on my face. Now I'm living in an oxygen debt I can't repay, suffocating slowly since the moment you walked away. I spent every breath trying to keep your spirit high. Now I'm choking on the silence of a long and empty sky. It's a physical exhaustion, a heart that's run out of air, drowning in the nothingness of finding you aren't there. The world keeps on moving, they say just take a deep breath, but every lungful of the morning tastes like a quiet kind of death. I'm a diver at the bottom who's forgotten how to rise, staring at the surface through these tired, stinging eyes. I gave you all my oxygen to keep your fire bright. Now I'm just a shadow turning blue inside the night. If there a time for the lonely, a mask for the soul, to help me find a balance and to regain some control. But the air is getting thinner with every step I take, living in the fallout of a 2026 mistake. Inhale the if, exhale the gone, an oxygen debt that carries on and on. I can't breathe without I'm sitting on a velvet chair that cost a year of rent, surrounded by the hollow things on which my heart was spent. The 2026 skyline is a diamond-studded view, but every sparkling light is just a mockery of you. The silk upon the windows doesn't keep the winter out, it only mutes the echo of my silent, lonely shout. It's an expensive loneliness, a high-priced kind of hell, living in a palace where I've nothing left to sell. I've got the vintage wine and the marble The designer watch is ticking like a hammer in my ear, measuring the distance of another wasted year. I bought the best of everything to fill the empty space, but there isn't any jewelry that can reconstruct your face. I'm a portrait of success in a frame of solid stone, the richest man in history to be this much alone. They say that money buys the sun and keeps the rain at bay, but it couldn't buy the old ways that you threw so far away. Now I'm drowning in the velvet, I'm suffocating in the grace, staring at a masterpiece with a blank and empty face. Check the price tag, it's more than I can pay. Expensive loneliness at the end of a long, long day. I have everything except for you. The 2026 skyline is a blur of neon through the glass. I'm watching shadows on the carpet as the hollow hours pass. I dialed 0 just to hear a human voice on the line, a desperate kind of acting for this broken heart of mine. The hotel bed is massive and it's freezing on the right. I'm just a lonely tenant in the middle of the night. It's midnight room service for a ghost and for a fool. I'm sitting by the silver tray and playing it so cool. I ordered for 2 people just to see the extra play, a physical reminder of our jagged, lonely fate. Drinking down the vintage, and I'm choking on the pride with a heavy kind of silence that has nowhere left to hide. The waiter didn't ask me why I'm dining all alone, or why the air inside this penthouse has turned as cold as stone. He left the white carnation in a vase of polished chrome, a funeral for a feeling that I used to call my home. I'm looking at the napkin and I'm looking at the door, waiting for the version of us that don't live here anymore. Put it on the top, put it on the soul. I'm losing every bit of what I used to call control. The card is in the corner and the steam is turning gray, just like the 2026 memories you threw so far away. Sign the check, leave a tip, midnight room service, and a heart that's starting to slip. 2026 dreamers are tangled on the hardwood floor, and the last of the laughter just walked out the door. The confetti is settling like colorful snow on the rug, right next to the stain from your favorite coffee mug. I'm standing in the kitchen with a half-empty glass, watching the ghost of our forevers begin to pass. I'm the after-party ghost, dancing in a silent room, sweeping up the glitter in the January gloom. The music stopped playing, but the rhythm won't leave. A heavy kind of static tucked inside my sleeve. Everyone's gone home to a love that's still alive, while I'm the only hollow thing that didn't survive. The balloons are all sinking, losing their breath on the ground, just like every promise when you stop being around. I still see you leaning by the window in the light, a beautiful hallucination in the middle of the night. The ashtray is full and the candles are burned to the bone. In a house built for two, I've never been so alone. Is there a light that stays on when the guests all depart? A way to reorganize a shattered 2020 suits heart. I'm turning off the lamps one by one in the hall, waiting for the silence to finally take it all. Lock the door, turn out the light. The after party ghost in the middle of the night, just me and the dust. And they used to be. The 2026 winter rain is tapping on the glass, while I watch the ink run dry and the lonely hours pass. I've written out the reasons and I've traced our every flaw on a piece of notebook paper that's begun to rip and thaw. I told you how the silence feels like salt inside a wound, and how the radio plays hollow since our hearts went out of tune. But it's just an unsigned letter sitting on the hall floor, addressed to the version of you that doesn't live here anymore. I can't find the courage to put my name beside the ache, or to claim the heavy burden of every choice we didn't make. It's a ghost of a confession, a prayer that's lost its light, just has turned as cold as stone. I wrote about the jacket that you left behind the chair, and how I find myself still talking to the empty open air. But I left the bottom empty, just a blank and white expanse, a final quiet witness to our failed and faded dance. If I sign it, then it's over. If I sign it, then it's true that I'm just a lonely stranger who is still in love with you. So I'll leave the lines unfinished, and I'll leave the pen aside, keeping all the broken pieces where the hollow shadows hide. No love, no always, no goodbye to make it real, just an unsigned letter and the way I still the 2026 winter moon is hanging like a stone, while I'm sitting in the parlor entirely alone. I'm wearing the dress that you said made me look like a queen, but now I'm just a ghost inside a faded velvet scene. The fabric's soft and heavy, catching every drop that falls, muffling the sound of my weeping against the empty walls. And I'm crying velvet tears into the color of my coat, with a jagged piece of us still stuck inside my throat. They don't make a sound when they hit the floor tonight, just a dark and heavy stain in the flickering candlelight. It's a luxury of sorrow, it's a rich and quiet pain, drowning in the texture of a love that's died in vain. Fingers down the sleeves to feel the way we were back when every touch was soft and every day a blur. Now the pile is getting matted from the salt and from the grief, a physical reminder that our spring was far too brief. I'm a portrait of a woman who is lost her only light, wrapped in purple shadows in the middle of the night. If the heartbreak wasn't cotton, maybe I could let it go. Maybe I could wash away the winter and the snow. But this grief is woven deep, it's a tapestry of blue, and I'm suffocating slowly in the memory of you. Velvet tears soaking through the seas. Velvet tears for all our broken dreams. It's so quiet, so soft. Goodbye. 2026 skyline is a blur of neon, red and blue. I'm driving through the district just to feel close to you. The city's finally sleeping, but my mind is wide awake, tracing every back road for our love's sake. I passed the 24-hour diner where we used to hide away. Now I'm just a pilot in a world of shades of gray. I'm your 3 a.m. chauffeur, driving ghosts around the town, watching all the bridges that we built come crumbling down. The passenger seat is empty, but I still reach for your hand, a lonely navigator in a dark and hollow land. I'm burning through the gasoline just to outrun the pain, a chauffeur to a memory in the freezing winter rain. I see your face in every pair of headlights passing by, underneath the heavy weight of a January sky. The navigation's silent, it's got nowhere left to go, just like the tired heart of a man you used to know. I'm checking every mirror, hoping I might see your car, but I'm just a wandering traveler following a dead light star. They say the roads lead home, but home is just a word, a melody of us that I haven't recently heard. I drive until the wheels fall off and the engine turns to stone. Anything to keep from sitting in that quiet house alone. Shift into neutral, coast into the dark. Your 3 a.m. chauffeur, searching for a spark. The meter's still running, but you're already gone. The 2026 countdown ended hours ago, but I'm still sitting in the kitchen in the neon glow. The party's over and the confetti's turned to dust, along with every promise and every bit of trust. I found the bottle chilling in the back of the tray, a celebration for a love that you threw far away. Now I'm drinking cold champagne and crying in the dark, waiting conversations dripping like a tear down the glass, watching all the shadows of our forevers pass. I remember how the cork used to fly toward the sky before you traded every hello for a bitter goodbye. Now the silver bucket's melting into a pool on the floor, and I'm staring at the handle of a locked and silent door. They say that luxury is a comfort when you're sad, but it's just a stinging reminder of the everything we had. I'd trade this vintage bottle for a plastic cup of tea if it meant that you were sitting here right next to me. One last glass to the ghost in the room, cold champagne in the 2026 room. It's so quiet, it's so cold. Cheers. The revolving door keeps spinning in the 2020-26 rain. A cycle of strangers just to mask my internal pain. I'm sitting on the velvet where we checked in once before, but now I'm just a witness to the numbers on the floor. The bellman's offering a smile that I can't quite return. Watching the bridges to our past slowly start to burn. It's that hotel lobby silence, heavy and gold. The sound of a story that's already been told. 1,000 travelers passing, but I'm perfectly still in a wide open room that I'm not allowed to fill. I'm waiting for a ghost to come walking through the light, but it's just the hotel lobby, silence in the middle of the night. The fountain's humming softly like a prayer I forgot, tracing all the outlines of the version of me I'm not. I see a couple laughing near the grand piano shade, and I flinch at the echo of the promises we made. I've got a key card in my pocket for a room I'll never use, a plastic piece of nothingness for a man with nothing to lose. Is there a suite for the hollow? Is there a bed for the stone in a just the lobby silence and a 2026 snow. Still waiting, still checking out. The 2026 air is freezing in my room while I stare at the screen in the January gloom. I dialed your number just to hear the rhythm of the ring, waiting for the comfort that a hollow voice could bring. But the connection's jagged and the signal's turning gray, just like the ghost of us that's drifting far away now. It's just static on the line, a long and lonely hum, the sound of a future that's never gonna come. I'm shouting through the white noise, I'm begging for a spark, but I'm just a broken frequency lost inside the dark. It's a digital heartbreak, a disconnected sign, nothing left but static on the line.
I can hear the distance in the crackle and the pop, the sound of a heartbeat getting ready for the stop.
You're trying to say sorry, but the words are breaking up like the steam rising slowly from an empty coffee cup. I'm clutching the plastic like it's a holy golden thread, but the line is finally silent and the memory is dead.
Is there a tower high enough to reach where you are now, to mend the broken circuit and to keep the final vow? But the bars are dropping lower and the screen is going dim, and I'm falling off the edge of every jagged
Metal rim. Hello? Are you there?
The 2026 wind is all I hear,
Just static on the line.
and a single frozen tear.
Goodbye.
Disconnect.
I'm sitting at the table where the 2026 winter light is highlighting the ghost of every dinner, every night. I found the crumpled paper from that night in late July, the last time that we laughed before the well ran dry. 2 coffees and a shared dessert, a total for the soul. Before the price of loving you took everything I hold. I'm gonna burn the receipt let the ink turn into ash, like the memory of the moment that we both began to crash. I don't wanna see the numbers or the date beside your name, or the evidence of a fire that's now just a flickering flame. It's a paper trail of heartbreak, a record of the dead. I'm burning every witness to the things I can't forget. The blue flame licks the edges of the faded thermal gray, watching 40 of them forever slowly drift away. It doesn't show the shouting or the silence in the car, or the way we look like strangers from exactly where we are. I'm cleaning out the wallet and I'm clearing out the chest, putting all the small reminders to a final permanent rest. They say you keep the stuff so you can prove that you were there, but I don't need a slip of paper to remember this despair. The smoke is rising thin and sweet, a ghost inside the room, while I'm standing in the center of the party 26 gloom. Nothing left but black flakes on the floor. I don't owe you anything anymore. Burn the receipt, watch it disappear, just like you did. Just like you did. The city lights are sparkling like diamonds on the floor, but they don't make a sound against the slamming of the door. 40 floors of glass and steel to keep the world away, while the 2026 winter turns the skyline into gray. I'm walking through the echoes of the marble and the stone, realizing that a palace is just a cage when you're alone. It's an empty penthouse, a kingdom in the clouds, where the silence is a scream that's getting way too loud. I've got the panoramic view of every street we used to know, but I'm shivering in the shadows where the neon used to glow. What's the point of reaching high or touching the stars above in an empty penthouse built for a ghost of a love? The designer chairs are waiting for a guest who'll never come, as I'm drowning in the rhythm of a heart that's going numb. I see my own reflection in the floor-to-ceiling glass, watching every forever like a cloud begin to pass. I trade the private elevator and the golden key for one messy, crowded morning with you, sitting next to me. They say that I made it, that I'm standing at the top, but I'm just waiting for the gravity to finally make it stop. It's lonely at the summit when the air is getting thin, and I don't know where the building ends and the gun begins. 40 stories up, but I've never felt so low. Just an empty penthouse with nowhere left to go. The lights are on, but nobody's home. The 2026 when a moon is bleeding through the blind, and I'm tangled in the fabric of the life we left behind. I found your robe behind the door, a pool of liquid blue, still holding on to shadows and the phantom shape of you. The threads are cold against my skin, a soft and silver stain, like the memory of the promises that we were gonna bring. Now you're just a ghost in the silk, a shimmer in the dark, a heavy kind of beauty without a single living spark. I'm clutching at the hemline, but my fingers just go through, drowning in the texture of a love that wasn't true. Oh, it's a luxury of heartbreak. It's a smooth and silent kill, watching you evaporate while I am standing still. The scent of your gardenia is fading from the wind, along with every reason that you didn't wanna leave. I wrap the sleeves around my neck to feel a hollow touch, realizing that I'm broken 'cause I love the glow too much. It's a fabric made of whispers, it's a tapestry of if, balanced on the edge of a 2026 cliff. If I burn the velvet and the lace, would the spirit finally fly? silk, fading at the seams. Just a 2026 memory in a world of broken dreams. So quiet, so soft. Goodbye. The 2026 winter light is fading on the final page. I'm sitting in the silence of this empty gilded cage. The ink is dry, the story's told, the hero's gone away, leaving me with nothing but the things I couldn't say. I'm holding the spine of everything we thought we knew, watching the horizon swallow every trace of you. It's the last chapter, the ending that I never planned, like riding always in the shifting desert sand. I'm closing the cover on the ghost of you and me, a tragic kind of mercy in the finality. The words are all hollow, the papers turn to stone. In this last chapter, I'm finally on my own. I saw our names etched in the margins of the early parts before the 2026 cold had settled in our hearts. We were a masterpiece of color and of light. Now we're just a footnote in the middle of the night. I'm folding the corners of the moments I wanna keep, but the plot has turned to poison and the current is too deep. Is there a sequel for a heart that's lost its spark? A new beginning hiding somewhere in the dark? Or is the end the only truth I'll ever find in the wreckage of the story that we're leaving far behind? Turn the page, the ink is gone, a 20th sunset, and I can't hold on. The book is closed, the story's done without